danger of shooting videos outside. Motorcycles. So yesterday I actually shot this whole video in like 3 different locations, and I took pictures in each of those places to use as a demonstration. That video did not turn out very well. The audio was bad, lighting was terrible, so I just reshot this whole thing today. Anyway, so this last week I had to go back to my hometown to do a couple things. And I don't know if you're like me, but I do my best thinking when I'm in the car traveling somewhere. And so I randomly got to thinking about the whole debate and conversation over photo editing. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, basically there's like 4 camps of people. First camp would be comprised of those that would be classified as purists. In other words, whatever comes out of their camera, that's it. No editing, no nothing. The second group would probably say something along the lines of edit it, but only to make it look exactly like it looked like in real life. So sometimes your exposure is off, and so you can adjust the exposure a little bit, or maybe you didn't white balance properly, and so you can go in and kind of balance it so the colors are correct. Basic tweaks like that. And then there's the third group that would basically say, do whatever you want to a photo. If you want to make the sky green and purple, go ahead. If you want to make a purple hat pink, go ahead. Or if you want to make Trump orange. But then there's the fourth group, which would be comprised of people that are various mixes of groups 2 and 3. And that's where I would put myself. I definitely think there's a threshold where editing doesn't really look great. And I think trying to make yourself a part of group 2 would actually increase your photography skills. Photography skills. Would increase your photography skills. Anyway, I think there are 2 best practices, or two good reasons to edit a photo. So number 1 would be to draw attention to certain aspects of a photo that you saw when you took it. Because let's be honest, when you're looking at a shot, you're gonna see something totally different than the person next to you is gonna see. And I'm actually thinking of one particular photo that I took. It was in this wooded area, and it was at sunset. And so as the sun was going down, there was this dot of light that was kind of coming from around this tree. But then also it was shining through this overgrown grass. You know how grass like grows and then it has seeds on it? Well, it was turning the whole tops of the grass just gold, and it was beautiful. And so those are the 2 things that I really wanted to highlight. So what I did was I highlighted certain parts of the photo using radio filters, and I darkened other parts, but I didn't do a whole lot to the photo. In that case, all that was necessary was just highlighting certain aspects to draw the viewer's attention to that, so that they were seeing exactly what I wanted them to see in the photo. And I personally feel like that's a great use of editing. It definitely doesn't look exactly like it did coming out of camera, and it probably doesn't look like the person next to you saw it, but it does look exactly how I saw it when I composed the shot. So number 1, to highlight certain features. So I'm one that thinks better when I have like something, like I need to get a fidget cube or something, but somehow I ended up with this thing on my finger. What is this? Oh, I think it's to my guitar stand. I've been looking for this. Reason 2. So the second reason would be to create symmetry and contrast in your image. Like if you think of really eye-catching Instagram profiles, they usually use like 2 or 3, maybe 4 different colors, but they only use those colors in their images, and it really creates a nice symmetry on the profile. And it's also a type of branding. This is something I really need to work on with my own personal pages, but I'm still trying to get the hang of that. But still, in a specific image, you may want to tweak it so that there's only 2 or 3 different colors in that image. For instance, if you're in a wooded area, but one of your colors is kind of like a yellowish, then you may want to turn your greens a little bit yellow. So that's symmetry, but I also mentioned contrast. This I'm specifically referring to the color wheel. So if you don't know what a color wheel is, this is a color wheel. And if you just Google a color wheel, you'll notice that like reds are opposite greens, and oranges are opposite blues, and yellows are opposite purples. But you can use this to your advantage. For instance, a really popular one right now is to turn greens a little yellow, and yellows to a little bit orange, and blues to aqua. So now the highlights and the shadows are on opposite sides of the color wheel, and it just looks really pleasing to the eye. It creates a sense of contrast and depth in the image. So that's reason 2, to create symmetry and contrast. All of that said, I do want to mention, if you're a purist, all the power to you, because I can absolutely see how that would increase your photography abilities. And the same way for camp 2. So what camp do you fall into? Are you more of a purist, or do you think you can do basically whatever to a photo? Or are you something in between? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Peace.